Hello everyone and welcome to another review. Today I have a review for you of a fragrance that has gained a lot of popularity, is very much heavily sought after in the fragrance community. It is none other than Thierry Mugler's Pure Coffee. Here is the bottle right here. It actually looks just like the other fragrance bottles of the Pure series, Pure Malt, Pure Havane. It has the same actual type of design. One difference that you see with this is the star in the middle. It's not actually glass. It's almost like some sort of type of metal, maybe some type of weird plastic in the middle. The colorway, it's brown on caramel in the middle, or a goldish color. And the bottom contains the serial information as well as the classic Thierry Mugler information on the bottom. The sprayer is just like the other ones. I'm not going to go ahead and spray this one this time, but yes, that's Pure Coffee right there. Now, this fragrance was actually created by Jacques Cochlear. He's the same guy who designed Angelman, as well as Christine Nagel, I believe. Nagel, I'm not sure how you actually pronounce that, but they both had their say in this, and they both are the ones who created this. It was released in 2008. It is a flanker of the original Angelman, and is very similar to the original Angelman in that same manner. I will actually get onto that a little bit more in the rest of the review, but this fragrance actually retails for $75, around $85 normally. Now, there's a big normal or but in that statement, though. You cannot actually purchase this retail anymore. There are some stores that pop up with this particular fragrance, but they sell it for anywhere, expect to pay between $185 to $300, $400 just because it is so hard to get, and you should be aware of that. So this fragrance, while it retails for $75, $85, the only time you're going to get it for that amount is when Thierry Mugler holds these sales. Well, they'll go ahead and all of a sudden start to sell Pure Coffee. They had a recent one where they did it, but they only sold literally 50 bottles of this particular fragrance, and it sold out within about 5 minutes. So it's a very hard fragrance to come across. If you're going to buy it off someone, they're probably going to want a lot of money for this fragrance. But this review hopefully should possibly squelch some of the desire to get it. I'll admit I purchased this one off another reviewer. I actually purchased it for $100, and that's the only reason why I purchased it, was I was able to get it at least at a semi-decent price. And I just wanted it for my collection of Thierry Mugler's. I have the whole collection of them, and this pretty much completed the collection. So I got a good deal on it, and I went ahead and purchased it. So that's why I have this in it. So please beware of the price, and you really might want to check this one out. If you're looking for something that's going to smell awesome or anything like that, you might want to steer away from this one. So with that, let's just get on to the notes of this particular fragrance. This fragrance consists of very simple notes, at least that are provided, and that's patchouli, musk, coffee, vetiver, and cedar. And really, those are the only notes that I've ever seen listed around. I'm assuming the notes are very similar to Angelman, but with the coffee note kind of infused in it. Now, what does this smell like? This, initially when you put it on, its name is Pure Coffee, and initially when you put it on, you get kind of like a coffee type smell. But it's not the coffee type smell that most people are really accustomed to. I really get almost, I saw this comment on base notes actually, a coffee shop type smell, and that really fits it. Because you smell faintly of coffee, but you also smell of the sweets that are in the store type area. So you get a lot of the Angelman type scent, but you also have that coffee scent. But that's only for a good 5-10 minutes. After that, that coffee that you smelled goes completely away. And some people don't even smell that coffee initially. But either way, that's what you kind of get in the beginning. Afterwards, it dries down to a smell that smells very much like a toned down, a very toned down Angelman. So you're going to get a sweet patchouli, almost a little bit of a chocolatey type smell, even though chocolate is not actually listed in the notes. It's going to be very powdery at the same time. And that's kind of the smell that you're going to get throughout this particular fragrance. It's nothing really that jumps out. In fact, my first time spraying it, I kind of got confused for a second. Did a redouble, looked at the bottle again, thought that I maybe smelled Angelman, for example. But it's really a toned down version of Angelman with a little bit of coffee infused on it, if I really wanted to sum it up. Now, as far as sprays go for this particular fragrance, anywhere between 3 and 5 sprays is perfectly fine. In fact, more than 3 and 5 sprays still would be technically okay, and I'll get to the reason for that in a bit. Occasion. You really can wear this for any particular occasion, but I particularly feel that this is really good for work and some casual occasions. Wouldn't really wear it as a date type of fragrance, wouldn't really wear it as a going out type of a fragrance or anything like that. But just like as a casual fragrance, or even almost a toned down work fragrance. And it works for work just because of the fact that it does become so subtle and just, you know, has almost a skin type scent after about 3-4 hours, which I just jumped into it. But projection and sillage. Projection and sillage for this particular fragrance are both not so good. Projection initially for this fragrance is pretty good actually for the first 3 hours. After 3 hours, all bets are off and it really dies down to a purely skin scent. The sillage at the same time, it doesn't really leave a scent trail at all. That scent really sticks with you and people have a hard time smelling this fragrance, and that's probably one of the biggest downfalls of this fragrance, is that it's so hard to actually smell. So it's almost more of a fragrance that one person might enjoy themselves rather than it being for everyone else around you to smell. As far as longevity goes, longevity is another place where this fragrance takes a pretty big hit. Again, it lasts for 3 hours, but after that it dies down into pretty much a skin type scent. Very much a skin type scent at that point. The season that this one does well in, it very much like Angel Man, this one does well in the fall and the winter. Despite the fact that it's a very toned down version of Angel Man, it still comes across as you know, thick and heavy at the same time. So still for summer months, this is still I would say out of the league for the summer or for the hot weather or for the hot times when it comes in spring. It kind of gets to the point where it's still just a little bit cloying for that part. As far as age group goes, really any age group can pull this particular fragrance out. I don't really see any restrictions on it. Maybe some of the younger people might want to stay away from it just because it has a little bit of an older vibe, but I wouldn't hold it against them or anyone else if they decided to try and wear this particular fragrance. With that being said, what do other people feel about this particular fragrance? And here's what they think about this fragrance.
I enjoyed the freshly sprayed better than the already been sprayed. I felt that the freshly sprayed was more masculine, more woody, foresty, and the already soaked into the skin more feminine and powdery. I enjoyed the more masculine smelling fresh sprayed better than the powdery smell, and I would rate it a C++. Okay,
well, as far as I can tell, I really like it, but when it's been on for a while, so I guess the scent that it gives after 5 hours is really good because it's really like subtle. I'm not really being into like strong perfume or cologne anyway. So for that, after 5 hours, I'll give it like A-. After 20 minutes, I'm more like around a B.
So, describing it, it is about a candy type fragrance, so a coffee candy, kind of a hard candy, and it's not the most appealing to me, so I would give it a C+, B-.
So it has a sweet sense to it. It's not the type I would wear. I would give it a C-.
So now that you've seen how they feel about this fragrance, they sum it up. One gave it a C++, one gave it a B+, one gave it a C-, one gave it a C+. I rounded, by the way, for some of you who might have noticed what they said for it. And that's pretty much what they said in it is pretty much what I got from the fragrance, outside of other people who even commented on the fragrance as well. It's not really a fragrance that jumps out at people. Some people find it as sweet and they like it. Other people have found it as a really powdery fragrance. Now, one thing that I did, as some of you may have noticed, was I actually sprayed it on one hand as a fresh reminder, and then I had the scent on my right hand after it had been there for about 8 hours. So I gave them 2 sniffings of it, and that's why you kind of see that dual answer coming from them at times. Really, after it's been on your skin for, that 3+ hours, it becomes very, very hard to actually detect. It becomes very soft, and some people consider a little bit too feminine for a man to actually be wearing. Some people have actually said that. But that is the kind of vibe that I got from this particular fragrance. So, to sum it up, what are the ratings that I give this fragrance? For scent, I give this rating this scent a B+. It still is a very pleasant scent in my opinion. I like the scent. It's very close to Angel Men. Angel Men is one of the best smelling scents that I still love to this day out of all the fragrances that I get, but still the coffee note I thought kind of brought it down. I don't particularly like it more than I do Angel Men, Pure Malt, or Pure Havane for that reason. As far as a projection goes, this particular fragrance gets a C-. Again, it kind of struggles in projection the whole way. Even though it smells like Angel Men, it's not projecting like Angel Men at all. It is very close to the skin in that matter. For sillage, I give this one an F. It sticks with you and goes nowhere else. Nobody's going to smell you after you pass or anything like that. They're going to have to come right up on you. So for sillage, it gets an F. For uniqueness, it gets a B. Uniqueness, it still is a pretty unique fragrance that mixes. You're not really going to find any other fragrances out there that smell like this. You're going to find some that smell similar, I guess, with the Angel Men type series, but that's about it. It still is a pretty unique fragrance. So for that, I'm going to give this one a B. For longevity, C-. Again, 3 hours after that, it still lasts on your skin up to, I'd say, around almost all day, but a skin type fragrance that is just pretty much on your skin and doesn't go away doesn't really count as lasting in my opinion. So of actual scent that people can smell after it's gone skin wise, maybe 8 hours. For versatility, I give this one strangely enough a C-. Versatility, I still can't see myself wearing this in very many places, and a lot of times when I'm looking for fragrances to wear, especially when I'm looking at my Angel Men line, this is often, believe it or not, the last one on the list. Even the most recent one, Pure Shot, I can definitely see myself wearing that a lot more than I do Angel Men Pure Coffee. In fact, the only time that I've really worn this is when I was reviewing it and getting really used to it. Other than that, I haven't touched this, and I probably will not touch it. I'll still keep it in my fragrance collection, but as far as Pure, the other Pure series go, they're just better in my opinion. Yeah, so that about sums it up for versatility. For compliments, this one gets a D. Believe it or not, this one did not get a lot of compliments at all. Even when asked and prodded for people, the most part people considered it an average fragrance and just like a meh fragrance. Despite the fact that it was something unique, something that they hadn't really smelled, it still was sort of average to them, and that really told the story for this particular fragrance. So overall, I give this rating this fragrance a rating of a C. An average fragrance. It's not going to do too great. It's not a bad fragrance at all, but it does have quite a few deficiencies to it that make it so that it's just not something to jump out at. So if you have any questions whatsoever, please go ahead, let me know. Feel free, leave a comment. Enjoy yourselves, and have a great day, people.